PBs, speeds, records, attention is not why I do this. What I do it for is the space, the clarity, the connection to wildlife and nature. Hi, I'm Rich, Sheffield, Northern, and a trail runner and photographer in the space, and been involved in sport all my life, I guess. So I started in dreaming to be a footballer. I think like most of my mates growing up in a northern steel town, we certainly didn't want to go and work in the steelworks, but yeah, that didn't materialise, and that discipline for training sort of like stead us in a good place and stead myself in a good place for, you know, training for sport and working hard in sport and putting myself in this discomfort and uncomfortable positions in training. Mixed in with gym, mixed in with lots of hiking, and then lastly into trail running, where I've been in that space, and that's taken over everything else for the last 6 years. Sport came quite naturally to me as a sort of way of moving, and I always, you know, a way of being in as a kid. I've always had this sort of element of competition about me. I love being competitive. Just before lockdown, I took some students with my old job as a PE teacher to South Africa. We did some amazing work for 3 weeks with our students and some local communities and local schools, a lot of sustainability work. We came back to the UK 4 months later, with 6 weeks into lockdown, and we didn't know what was going on. We got an email from the guys in South Africa saying, "We need your help. The school that you helped at basically have got no food," because, you know, COVID affected all angles of the earth, of course. So it was a plea for help. Can we do anything? So basically I put together a spreadsheet, and basically we covered the miles, 8,760 miles from our school to their school. Obviously we didn't actually go there. The aim was to cover it collectively through walking, running or cycling. And as a family of 4, for example, if you all went out for a walk together, that would accumulate to the number of miles that you did on that day, and then we'd take it off 8,760. And we raised about 2.5 grand for the school that we worked at in South Africa. We sent that money over, we did it, and we got images back from the community and the schools. Basically, yeah, we were feeding that community through that fundraising opportunity in lockdown. So yeah, how did I then enter trail running? I was walking every day, doing as many miles as I could, and then I just started, I'm shifting to running, and I started running a little bit more, and I thought, wow, I love this. Running on the local trails, jogging along, and then it just carried on from there, and it was just sort of like, this is where I need to be. This is what I love doing. This is definitely a love affair. And I think my first ultra was in the Peak District. It was a 2-day event, but I only did the single day. I was the first male back. On the single day I was 3rd overall, and I just got the hook. That competition in me, that competitive element in me, wanted more of that. Running has given me an identity, again, like sport does. It gives you an identity, sport gives you an identity. Football gave me an identity, that's who I was. That's gone. I can't keep playing football anymore. It has a window and a shelf life. What's going to replace that? You ask any pro footballer that finishes their career, or any sports person, they're lost. They don't know what to do with their lives. So to make a transition into another sport, even if it's nowhere near the level you're at in previous sport, you have an identity, and that's important. So I've taken risks, and I think risks do provide a reward, of course, but also risks you can fall flat on your face. And I left a great career as a PE teacher, working in education for many, many years, to pursue working for myself as a photographer in the space. And I guess I tell you what that has given me. It's given me a huge sense of belief which then I think I can transition and I can sort of bring out in anything else that I sort of do moving forward. So I feel less fearful when I enter these bigger races that I am stepping out of my comfort zone in. For example, I'm doing the Dragon's Back this year in September. That is way out of what I'd normally run. For 5-6 years I've been running 50Ks essentially. So for me to be going and doing the Dragon's Back is an example of me stepping massively out of my comfort zone. And I guess that's come from a self-belief of leaving the comfort of being employed by somebody else to stepping out and standing on my own 2 feet and doing it my way. And I take a lot of strength from that. Being in that space is and reconnecting with nature, I guess, is really important for me, and a huge driver for getting outdoors and clearing the head. But yeah, being in and amongst those vast open spaces, whether it's in the middle of the Peak District or just in the local woodlands here, it's really important to me. It just absolutely regulates my nervous system, takes me away from any stressors or people that I might be annoyed by, but yeah, it's really important. I've always had this strong affinity with pine trees. I don't know why, to the point that I've even had one tattooed on my forearm, but I guess it's kind of quite, whenever I'm in a wooded area or an area with pine trees, I feel it just makes me feel even better. For some reason, the sound of the wind in the pine trees is like being next to the ocean, and Sheffield is so far from the ocean, most central place in the UK. But yeah, I love being by the sea. So the smell it gives off, how they are, how they hold themselves within the countryside. But yeah, it's beautiful. It just humbles me, and it reminds me of, don't ever take these beautiful places for granted. So I've been with Team Sturker since practically day one. I've been part of their sort of research and development over the last few years. So yeah, really proud to be part of that. And it's great seeing them going from strength to strength. So I feel, again, pretty honoured that they use me as a soundboard and someone who can reliably give feedback on their products. Fueling ambition means to me constantly feeding your potential, constantly testing your potential in whatever you do. And I love Sturker's strapline of fueling ambition, pushing your boundaries in whatever you do, and they're helping you create that. But yeah.
But what about you?
Yeah.
It ties into you.
I feel like I'm actually fueling my own ambition a lot more than I realise, I guess. I'm constantly pushing and ready to evolve in anything that I do and be ambitious in whatever thing that I take myself into. So yeah, I'm ready to go.